Hello and welcome back to the Peach State Prime Transformers channel. I'm Warren. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a new release or upcoming release from Hasbro. And I didn't make a video right when this was announced because I was kind of processing my thoughts around it. I love sharing my thoughts on news and upcoming releases. And what we're actually taking a look at is the Transformers Studio Series, and that's integral to this, Seeker Storm Pack. This is a 4-pack of Decepticon Seekers turned into jets using the latest version of the Seeker mold, which we first saw with Studio Series Thundercracker for the 86 Transformers the movie, followed by Skywarp, and then, of course, the Target exclusive Starscream. This is now being redecoed into 4 of the other somewhat long-lost Seekers that are out there, non-Conehead Seekers, we should say. And it is the 3 Rainmakers that were seen on Cybertron with Cybertronian forms, but, they have Earth forms here, but everybody wants the Earth forms, okay? And that was very relevant when it came to the Siege line. Anyways, so we're getting Ion Storm, Nova Storm, and Acid Storm, who, Acid Storm did get it was the Classics Universe, whatever release, way back that first Seeker mold everybody fell in love with underneath the Universe Classics Generations banner. So we're getting a new version of him, and then I don't think we ever had an Ion or Nova Storm, but they look great. And then we also have Sunstorm. Sunstorm, again, he did appear on the show, named later. He was not one of the initial Rainmakers, I believe, but obviously he fits into this pack. And I think Sunstorm was one a lot of people wanted, and they're a little upset that it's exclusive to this 4-pack. And Hasbro's doing something really interesting with this 4-pack. It is a 4-pack of Voyagers, again, the latest Seeker mold. It is not any store exclusive, internet exclusive. When I say store, I mean like Walmart or Target, because they're notorious for getting, especially Target, getting their multi-packs. This instead can only be found on Hasbro Pulse, and you can only get it if you pre-order it. You're not going to find this in a store later on, at least not at this price. So it's their first made-to-order Transformers item. So they're only going to make, according to Hasbro, as many as they pre-sale. And that's that. I know they've done this for some of their other license, or one of their other lines is the better way to put it. And so this is their first Transformers item. It's not a bad one to start with because they are a little bit more obscure characters, and it gives it to the fans who want them. However, if you only want 1 or maybe 2 of them, you're stuck with all 4. Now, not that any of them would look bad in your collection, but again, if you really, really, really just want that Sunstorm, because we just weren't getting a Sunstorm with a G1 jet alt mode. We didn't get it in that Classics figure, at least not that I can recall. If we did, please correct me. We didn't get it in the last Seeker mold, the Earthrise one, that is. And we're finally getting it here. So that's a hot item. So it's not terrible you get all 4. It makes it a little bit more difficult because to get all 4, now bear with me here, it is $150 to purchase this. That that's a big chunk of change right up front. However, other items have cost that. Titan classes, the Matrix, that was just released not long ago, and 150 is not too bad for 4 Voyagers. You do have, when you break it out, Voyagers are right around $43 now, retail, if you're lucky. Here in the U.S., I don't like the price, but it is what it is right now. If you were to price that out, it would actually be closer to $175. So Hasbro's actually giving you a little bit of a deal here to get these 4 elusive Seekers. So I can't really complain about that. The decos look great. I know these are just mock-ups we're seeing in the images. But I do like them. When I say $150 is hard, $150 is hard for a couple reasons, and not for everybody, but, something like the Matrix or Titan class, if you don't pre-order it, you still have a shot to get that later on. It may be difficult, but there will be a general release. These figures will not have a general release, so if you're trying to get them on the aftermarket, I don't even want to imagine what one of these figures would cost, yet alone the whole set. So I guess you do have third-party options as well if you can't swing the 150. The other thing where I think some people will have difficulty paying the 150 up front is, this is somewhat akin to a HasLab. So I guess you can see that, except, there's no minimum they need to reach. There's no stretch goals. So if you look at it that way, I guess it's not that bad either. But the production timeline, they're not expected to be delivered until around the fall of 2027. That is over a year from when you are paying that $150 up front for that toy. Now, if you're impatient like me, I want to pay the $150, get my item, and be good. And that's, I have not backed any HasLabs. I have backed Kickstarters that aren't Transformers before, and man, you have to have patience for that. So that's where I think, that might be a little bit of a challenge there. Do I think the 150 is worth it? Absolutely. Especially for this size class, and again, the uniqueness of the characters. One thing that I have kind of wondered about, because you look at a HasLab, I mean, again, I couldn't tell you the exact turnaround times, but they're usually about a year, maybe a little bit more than that, and that's what we're being asked to wait for here. The question that comes to mind is, these are all for repaints. So it's not unique molding. The molding's already up, and is currently being used. You just have to use the right paint apps. So, I mean, I've been, I've called that out on social media, and those that are a little bit closer to Hasbro than I ever will be, inform me that, that is the normal turnaround time for any new figure. I'm just still a little surprised that repaints take quite that long. I know BotCon exclusives, again, times have changed, but we're talking like BotCon when they had Hasbro produced exclusives. I don't know the exact turnaround time, but that would have meant that they would have had to have their exclusives for the following convention chosen before the current one even happened. And that may have been the case. I've never read an interview where that was, but again, I wasn't on the planning committee for that event, so who knows. But I just find it interesting is all. And, if Hasbro needs that lead time, they need that lead time. I mean, there's nothing we could do to change about it, and there's no sense complaining too much other than just people like me being impatient for their toys to come in. But anyways, just to kind of wrap up, again, I think all 4 of these look great, especially Sunstorm. I know some people don't, maybe the shade of orange is a little off to them. I think it looks great. I think all 4 of these look great. Wish, I could have them sooner. Have not decided. There's still over a month at the time of this recording to get your order in. And just waiting to see if I could swing it with, other pre-orders that have come in right about now and kids going back to school and all that good stuff. But if I can, I would very much like to get this set, and don't fault anyone that does. Again, I think it's a great value, great toys, just a long time to wait for them. Anyways, would love to hear your thoughts on this Decepticon Seeker Storm multi-pack. That's being made to order by Hasbro Pulse, or by Hasbro, up for sale on Hasbro Pulse. Love to hear about it, or hear your thoughts. And if you'll be getting them, or, if there's one you don't like or think they needed to do better, again, love to hear from you. If you did enjoy this video, of course, I invite you to give it a like here on YouTube. And, of course, subscribe to the Peach State Prime Transformers channel for more content like this. Reviews, talk about upcoming items, new reveals, rumors. We try to cover it all here and have some variety. And if you would like to check out peachstateprime.com, you can learn more about me and my other YouTube projects. Outside of that, I do want to thank you very much for watching this video and listening to my opinion. Hope you have a great day, and God bless.